Taking the second keynote address, I am honored to present to you Mr. Praise Fowowe himself, all the way from the United States of America.
Thank you very much, Mary Jane. Thank you very much, Miyabise. And I love the fact that we're all here to have this conversation today. You see, there's a crisis across Africa. Everything they read about me, something drives me. And what drives me is the fact that my life started when I left school. I was studying accounting. And at some point, I just felt something was amiss. And so all my friends, we were buying stickers in 200 level. And the sticker read, I can with I can. I mean, in Nigeria, for you to be a chartered accountant, you have to, you have to join ICANN. And so I was the only one that didn't buy the sticker. So they were like, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm not going to be an accountant because I've asked a deep question that there was never a time I'll become the greatest accountant in the world. But that I was going to go into family life. One of them laughed at me and they felt, why are you going to go into family life? I said, because when I was a child, I've always asked the question that no one was asking around me. I always asked, why is it that the final say had to do with fathers? Why is it that mothers had no say? Why was it that children didn't have a say in the family? So I told my mom, I said, I always wanted to study why families don't work in Africa. So I asked her, can you introduce me to some of your friends who have been married for 40 years? And my mom said, oh yeah, I belong to a prayer group. So she introduced me to people who have been married between 40 to 65 years. I went around all of them asking them a simple question. Why is your marriage working? How are you able to stay together for 40 years? You know the response I got? Prayer. The family that prays together stays together. I said, but I know prayer warriors whose marriages didn't work. So I took it on myself to study what they were doing. So I asked for permission to study them. And it took me about 10 to 11 years to study them. I took notes and then we built a framework out of it. Right now, data says that for every 100,000 Africans, you only have one mental health professional to every 100,000. So we have a mental health deficit. Now, you know, mental health problems across Africa, most of them were family problems. Either a father has traumatized a child, a mother has traumatized a child, a boyfriend has traumatized a girl. You know, someone, I don't ever have the temptation with stealing money. You know why? My father taught me in a very crude manner. I don't recommend it. My father puts a coin on his table when I was a kid. He will send you to his room. You wouldn't know that my father has used a pencil to circle the coin. If your hand mistakenly moves the coin out of the circle, my father calls it attempted stealing. Then my father will flog you and ask you to pull out your pocket. When you pull out your pocket, it tells you that when you steal the money that is not yours, right, and your pocket got torn, that when you start making your money, it never stays. So when I do contracts, sometimes I've done contract for Lagos State government, the leftover money, I retired it to Alausa. The first time they were looking at me and saying, are you a pastor? Because the voice of my father kept ringing. You see, foundations are conclusions. The family is the first boardroom, the first leadership school, the first emotional classroom, the first governing system. The family is the first economy, and the first place where Africa's future is either built or broken. If Africa gets the family right, she gets the leadership right, and she gets the leadership right, Africa can indeed change the future. The greatest asset on the African continent is not oil, it's not gold, it's not technology, as we can see. We have embarrassing natural resources. The greatest asset is the human being. And the first place the human being is engineered is the family. Thank you very much.